Hello, this is Tim, and I'm going to talk to you about verbal and non-verbal cues. Some primarily verbal cues, or a primarily verbal cue, is written word. Written word is interpreted the same in any language. If you're saying I love you in English, text message, Chinese, Russian, Spanish, it's all the same as long as you're saying I love you. Some mixed cues, your talk speed, loudness, pitch, they all help interpret what is being said. Excited, angry, or scared. Some nonverbal cues, such as body movement, gestures, eye contact, gaze, touch, and facial expression, all help to kind of indicate hidden meaning or affirm what's being said, such as someone saying hello and waving. I'm going to tell you a little story of something that helped me really understand verbal and nonverbal cues. It was March 18th, 2008 at 4 a.m. and I was sound asleep. I heard some glass breaking, and obviously I woke up quite confused and not really sure what was going on. First I thought maybe I was still asleep, maybe dreaming, and then I thought maybe my daughter was in the kitchen and had dropped something, but the glass kept breaking, so I decided maybe I'd better get up and investigate. So I got out of bed and I started out of my room after grabbing my weapon and started towards the living room. When I got to the living room, I seen in the dark across the room an individual was standing there. He was cursing. He was obviously quite scared and panicked. He was breaking glass out of my back picture window. And I asked him, I said, well, what are you doing? And in a startled kind of shake, he turned and he looked at me and he said, they threw me through the window and I'm trying to get back out. I said, well, why don't you turn the light on? He said, where is it? I said, it's right there next to the back door. So he turned the light on, and then I could see his face and he could see me. Now, seeing me in my underwear in the living room at 4 a.m. is probably scary enough, but that isn't what he was focused on. He was focused on the gun in my hand. After what seemed like an eternity, but was really probably only 10 or 15 seconds, he turned back to the window, busted out some more glass, and once it was clear enough for him to get out, he jumped out the window and out the yard. Through the yard he went, running. I immediately got to the phone and called the police, and about 10 or 15 minutes later, Midwest City's finest showed up. It was an older, more seasoned officer and a younger fellow. The younger guy said, well, you have a handgun in the house, why didn't you just shoot him? The make my day law would have protected you. And I just kind of looked at him and I said, how long have you been on the force? And he looked at me quite curiously and he said, well, only about 8 months. And I said, well, when you have yourself faced with that unfortunate situation where you have to shoot someone, until then, you come back and talk to me then. So what I learned from all of that is nonverbal and verbal cues can help you really determine what's going on. Verbal cues in this situation were his talk speed was very fast. He was out of breath. He was talking very loud. He was excited. The pitch was absolute fear of his voice. His nonverbals were he was trying to hide his face. His eye contact was focused on the gun and focused on that window. I knew he wanted freedom. I knew he wasn't going to hurt me. I knew all he wanted was his freedom. His facial expression was absolute fear, and that is what saved that boy's life.